I mean, man, lawyer talk sucks. I mean, goodness
Yes.
sakes, listening to people try to like, I've been reading a lot of bills, and most people in governments for some reason are all lawyers now, and they do
Yes.
this lawyer talk where really any law can be, it depends on the perspective and how they twist it. And I mean, really, it's just like whatever they want it to mean. I mean, that's just so ambiguous. It's just, or whatever. I don't even know if that's a word, but you know what I'm talking about. You just, ambiguous. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. But
yeah,
I'm so frustrated with that. There's these thousands and thousands of pages long, and they're
insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Insane amounts of writing that they do. And of course it's not even done really by lawmakers. It's done by some special interest group who hires a bunch of lawyers. They put together big chunks of bills, and then they aggregate those through their legislative aides into some AIDS-riddled package, and they deliver it with a stupid acronym to some 900-year-old senator. And he comes out and he's like, you know what's great? We'll pass the CARES Act. It's like, oh, thank you.
Like American Glory Act or something like that, where you're like, that sounds good.
It's CARES. Children are really extra special. The CARES Act, but it has nothing to do with that at all. Like,
yeah, it's like $500 million to the war machine. It's like, it's the CARES Act though, because we care. We care to kill people.
We care about sending soldiers overseas, so we're gonna do it more. It's like, oh goodness, stop. But yeah. I hate the process. I of course dislike lawyers probably as much as, if not more than everybody else too. They're really awful people. Universally.
It's like when nobody hates bad cops more than good cops. It's kind of like the same thing, right? No, like you're a good lawyer. Nobody hates bad lawyer. Are you not? Are you on record admitting that you're not a good lawyer?
Look, I'm just fine. I'm just fine for a lawyer. I am not, but one thing I have never, ever done, and I will never do, is I never oversell myself, my experience, or anything. I'm just a guy who went to law school and practiced on his own for a couple years. I don't know every aspect of the law. I try to be right in what I say. I really do.
Good way of being.
Yeah, but I'm just a guy. I'm not special. I'm not out here. I'm not like, I'm a high-powered litigator. I will ruin your enemies' lives for you. That's not my style. I would literally much rather hang around on YouTube, talk with normal people, and have a good time.
Nice. So. I mean, that's good. Let's talk about what happened today. What the heck happened to you today? YouTube cut you off?
I'm hanging around on YouTube, talking to normal people, having a good time. Like I said, watching
law splaining like usual.
We were watching. I've been doing this new thing where whenever Congress gets together to talk to each other, for some reason, I masochistically watch it.
Oh, gosh.
So I was watching
Someone has to do it.
I was watching the Senate confirmation hearing of the new Attorney General to be Merrick Garland, who this guy is super funny because they were trying the entire time to forget the fact that he was not he was nominated for the Supreme Court, but the Republicans stopped him from getting into the Supreme Court, and that this entire appointment is literal revenge for that. And they're trying to just like, no, that's not why. It's because he's the right guy for the job. And the Republicans are like, well, but have you ever been to the border? And he's like, no, I've never been to the border. And they're like, well, what do you know about drug cartels bringing people across the border and flooding our immigration system? I don't know anything about that. It's like, oh, okay.
What do you know? Gosh, like, oh my gosh, this guy, what does he know? He knows how to say the word I learned that.
Really good at that. He's got that one down.
He's got it down.
I would love someone to remix his into music, right?
All right, you heard it here. All right, that needs to happen. All right, so go listen to that Senate hearing. You don't have to listen to a lot of it. Just pick a couple clips, just snag those and make an mix, remix. It'd be good.
It'll be good. Yeah, it'll be fantastic. There's a new Mortal Kombat movie coming. They need a new theme song. Just get the out. Get the out.
Or just take whatever theme song they come out with and just drop those into it. Like, marry the two. It'd be perfect. All right, so you're watching it
Oh, yeah.
masochistically, watching this YouTube video or
And
making,
then
law explaining. Go ahead.
yeah, 3 hours, just under 3.5 hours into it, and it just shuts down. I've never had this happen. I've never. Now, some people think I make really controversial content. YouTube has never ever expressed to me that I make controversial content. I've never had a warning. I've never had a strike. Nothing like that. The worst thing that's ever happened to me are a couple, demonetized live streams and videos. And when I say demonetized, I mean not ad suitable, right? So
Yeah.
so I still get all the super chats and everything is fine. Never had a problem. Today they shut it down completely, gave me a warning strike for community guidelines, and they told me that it was because they detected I was using someone else's material, which is not true. The stream I was showing the audience was from the US Senate specifically. It's from their website. It was not filtered through C-SPAN or Washington Post or anything like that. I'm using a publicly recorded, publicly available hearing. And that was it. What they put on my channel, though, was scam, deceptive practices, or spam. So when people clicked on the link, it said this stream is taken down due to violations, scam, deceptive practices, and spam.
Wow.
So I don't know what scam there was or deceptive practice because I wasn't selling anything or advocating any product. I have no idea what that would be. I've reached out to YouTube. I'm hoping to get answers on it. I don't do things in private. So everything will be out on my Twitter and on YouTube as I get information about it. I'm waiting to hear back right now. But I was furious when it happened. Because like you could hit me with a hot, you could hit me with some sort of hot comment that I said somewhere. And I may deserve it at some point. But this was not that. This is so mundane. The daytime shows I kind of toned down. I don't have as many edgy jokes. I don't talk about how Australia's fake. I don't do anything like that on the daytime shows. So to have it happen here was really, really, really frustrating.
Yeah, and you found out from someone else saying, because you have it here, that they sent you this violation because it may have belonged to someone else, like you said. Yeah. And then someone actually came out and said, actually, I mean, they told me. That's why I've got this video up here. That the video was removed for violating YouTube's policy on spam, deceptive practices, and scams. It's like, so, well, which is it, YouTube? I mean, did they even respond at all? I know you've been tweeting at them.
Team YouTube has not responded to my tweets as far as I've seen. Okay. They're too busy telling Sinatra Says that his video had pornography in it.
Did it? I don't know.
He says no. He says no. So I can't imagine that it did, but whatever. So they're too busy doing stuff like that, and telling people that you don't get a play button at 1,000 subscribers to address the strike. So they haven't responded, but I've reached out through email to a YouTube contact, and I'm waiting to hear back from them on what the issue. To be clear, they have responded to me. They said they're looking into it. So I'm waiting to hear back on that. I've also filed the appeal as I'm supposed to. And I told them in the appeal that there was nothing related at all to what they sent to me in that video. So,
yeah, because you were just, watching and I mean, what were you? I mean, regular commentary, I'm assuming, right? Responding to what they were asking him and questions and stuff.
I was going, a lot. I was doing that.
Someone in chat, I got it. I don't know who said it, but I saw it. And someone goes, finish him, because of the Mortal Kombat. And I was like, oh, that's so good. I wish I thought of it, but shout out to whoever said that. I saw it. It was
finish.
It was so good.
But no, it is very normal commentary, very run-of-the-mill commentary. I wasn't saying, again, there's nothing really controversial to say about the hearing. It's just the most controversial opinion you can have is that this guy doesn't seem like he should be attorney general because he doesn't seem to know the issues. He spent a long time as a judge.
Whoa. Did you say that?
I did, I think.
Whoa. That's against the narrative.
That is true.
Now I get it. I get it. It's obvious now. You spoke against the narrative.
I rescind everything, YouTube. You guys were correct.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's too late, and I think you're right. I mean, from the clips that I've seen, I didn't watch it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I knew people like you were doing it for me, so I can, just interview you and be like, tell us about how bad of a job he would do, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. And so that's what I'm seeing. I'm just like, and what's really funny though, I still see like NBC, CBS posting the clips of like the 1 minute where he had one thing where he sounded noble, and I'm like,
Right.
oh. And then the rest of my feed is like, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't know if it's legal or illegal to like come into our border illegally? It's in the question, man. It says
It's not
to
even
illegally come across the border. Like, yes, it's illegal.
It's even worse that he says, I haven't thought about it. What do you think? What do you mean you haven't thought about it?
Right.
Is it should it be illegal to cross the border illegally? I've never thought about it. You've never thought about whether or not it should be a crime to cross the border. Yeah.
Can you think maybe right now and answer? What do you think now? Maybe no. Well, I mean, it's up to the administration and how it correlates to the different the thing. It's like, oh gosh, my gosh, what's with these old geriatrics in charge? I'm so fed up with it. We want coherent speech.
Right.
That's it. You should be able to speak coherently if you want to be in a position of power, period.
And if you want to be attorney general, you should have at least been to the U.S. border one time, because it's going to be a huge part of your job. And when you're coming in to be an attorney general now, following the election and all the talk about big tech and big media and all this stuff, you should have some passing knowledge about Section 230. I was blown away when he's like, I don't really know anything about it. I had one case. It was a straightforward application of 230. So, I mean, I've read the law, but I don't really know anything about it. I'm like, did you not know that this appointment was coming? Like, have you not been told about it? Did you not get the memo until yesterday? And you're like, oh my God, I got to get to DC and throwing on your suit coat. What happened here that you don't know? This is going to be a major issue. It's a bipartisan issue too. Yeah. We've had several hearings on it that both sides participate. They have different opinions, but it's all around the same issue. And he's like, I've never heard of it. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, we had Google, Facebook, and Twitter, the top CEOs, come in front of the Senate 3 times last year. Like, where have you been, dude? Like, duh. And then he admits that he even read the law, but doesn't know what it's about. It's like, what? I've read the law and I know what it's about. I'm not going to be attorney general. I'm a YouTuber, but at least I understand what 230 is about. Come on.
It's a symptom of this thing where we've got reality, and then we've got the legal system in general. And the legal system is 2 decades behind reality at any given moment. One of my favorite cases is US v. Jones, decided in 2006, I think. Or no, it happened in 2006. I think it was decided in 2012. That's how long it took to get through the Supreme Court. But it's basically a guy who had a tracking device placed on his car by the cops. And the cops waited until like the day after the warrant expired to throw the device on his car. And so this ended up being a warrantless search and everything. And Scalia wrote the opinion. It's all fine and dandy. But by the time that Scalia wrote the opinion, and his opinion was this was unconstitutional because they put something on his car physically without a warrant. So that was a trespass to his property. Okay. It's like, well, that's fine. But by time 2012 rolls around, they're deciding this case. They don't need to put anything on your car anymore. They can track it by your phone. They can track it probably by the car itself. Many cars have built-in GPS. They can do this. And we're not addressing the underlying issue of, can the government literally follow you around electronically everywhere you go? Is that okay? Can they do that without a warrant? And we don't have an answer to that because Scalia said, well, you can't put something on someone's car.
Like, that was not really an answer.
Right.
Well, it wasn't answering the key component of that, in the new age of where we're living. Right.
Yeah. And so the reason I use that example, though, is because it took so long for them to decide it. And then they're deciding it on this old concept of property law, which is really important. Like, Scalia's reasoning is good for the reasoning he chose. It just isn't ideal for the situation because it's still behind the technology by at that point 6 years, and really probably even longer when we get down into it. And the court is like that. This guy's like that. So we've got this guy's going to be the chief law enforcement officer in the entire country, and he doesn't know about the modern issues with Section 230, which will directly tie into prosecutions around trafficking and other things. So it's not like these are like, oh, we're just concerned about how Twitter bans people. That's not in the purview of the DOJ. But what things are being uploaded and how Twitter curates content and delivers that type of awful content directly to people at a rate higher than any other website other than Facebook, that is in the purview of the DOJ, and he should know how 230 functions because of that.
Agreed completely. It's ridiculous. The things that he didn't know about, like two of the top things, immigration, the whole Biden campaign, like there is, because of him saying all the things he said with amnesty and, legalizing citizenship, whatever, all that stuff. It's like there's now a mass migration of people coming to the south border. It's like, we know that's coming. So the attorney general should know. I think that alone, if you don't know about that, it's like, dude, you shouldn't be doing this job. And then to not be like Section 230, it's the new world that we live in. Like you have to be aware of all of this stuff. Is there anything else that caught you off guard that he said?
Well, I mean, most of it in general is just a big pain, but he had, they're talking about antitrust stuff. He seems to be, antitrust is a big part of his sort of portfolio, his law practice back when he was litigating in 1862.
And he doesn't know about Section 230?
Right. And he's talking about one of the big Section 230 related cases right now, and the big antitrust case is the US versus Google. So he didn't really have much to say about that. My other problem was they couldn't get him to say that he would go ahead and keep the special prosecutor who's looking into like Hunter Biden's laptop and investigating Biden's ties to China and Ukraine. He wouldn't say that, yeah, we're going to keep him on there unless we have good cause to fire him, which is what William Barr said. And he's like, well, I'm not going to say that. And it's like, why wouldn't you just say you'll keep him around unless you have good cause? You still have the out. All you have to do is find good cause, and then you can fire someone. And he was unwilling to do that. And that seemed to be, I'm not going to cave to what a Republican wants me to say, which I think the whole thing pointed towards we've got a DOJ that's going to be run in a very partisan way for quite a while.
Or just straight up a puppet, dude. That's what it feels like.
Well, one of my favorite parts is they railed on Bill Barr for saying that he was, Trump's lawyer, not the people's lawyer or something. And then they asked him about the death penalty. They asked this guy about the death penalty, and he says, well, it really depends on if Joe Biden issues a moratorium on the death penalty. Like, what does that have to do with anything? They're asking, if a white supremacist walks into a black church and shoots a bunch of people like Dylan Roof did, would you push for the death penalty in that case? And he's like, well, it depends on if we have an all around moratorium on the death penalty. It's like, but you don't have that. So
So answer the damn question. Come on. What do you think? That's the whole point. Think. Right. So all I'm hearing is he's not. He doesn't have someone in his ear going, "This is what I want you to say. Say this." He's going, I didn't get a proper answer to that question. I'm gonna circle back to that.
Yeah, we know at least we know either he wasn't wearing a studio monitor or it wasn't working.
Seriously, that's what it feels like. My goodness. I mean, I didn't see it, but
no, it wasn't unexpected, frankly. It's a Senate confirmation hearing. He's going to get through. The Democrats basically can put through anyone they want. The Republicans can raise a little bit of a stink about it. They're not going to. This guy's been a highly respected judge forever. There might be a few dissenting votes, but I think mostly they're going to go ahead and approve him. They all seem to respect him. I don't know why. He might be a good judge. I don't think he'll be a good attorney general.
Yeah.
And That's my opinion based on what I've seen so far. But it's not like I'm sitting here researching everything. I'm just going by the public hearing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really surprising looking at the administration and who controls the government right now. It's just like they don't care. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're just like, whatever. We're in control. So you can go ahead and deal with that because we're doing what we want.
Joe's over there like, I want thick and chunky soup. Come on, man. Bring me the soup.
Kama's like, can you just move him further so I don't have to listen to him while she's calling all the foreign leaders, making all the decisions.
You know, every time he looks at her, he's like, back when I was younger, you'd be serving me the soup and you wouldn't even be paid for it.
Oh my God. Brutal.